Hey everyone, welcome in. So with the Shield expansion coming out, I wanted to update my storage and get things more organized with my collection and figured I would bring you along for the ride here. So we'll take a look at the storage I currently use and then what I plan to update and organize a bit because right now it's honestly pretty much a mess, but let's get started. I'll have three separate boxes here. And the first thing that I use to store is the core box, the OG. So I'm going to open this up and show you what I store in here. So for this, I store the rules references, the learn to plays, and the card arts that come with the characters. Honestly, I don't use any of these, and it's hard to just throw away the the posters, even though they're just going to be in this box forever. But if we take a look into the box, there's a few things in here. So I have this pack of stickers that I was going to use to update my larger cardboard box that holds my cards, but I never got around to doing that, so I just still have the stickers. This is a pack of just extra dice that lays around because I'll typically use dice here and there to track damage and whatnot. On this side we have just some extra card sleeves, so these are the kinds of sleeves I use. I also have a separate drawer that does have a lot of sleeves in it. And then on this side we have these blue sleeves are the older ones I used to use initially, so I just had these with the core game, I think, and then moved over to a different kind. But in here is just cards separated by attributes that I pretty much never use, or that has a bunch of doubles, right? So this is going to be the basic cards, and there's a ton of things like endurance, which we have a ton of things in there as, or all the energies and whatnot. So anyway, that stuff I'm not really going to touch. Like I said, it's just cards that I pretty much never use in decks, or that I just have so many extras of and doubles. So a lot of those exist in here, in the sleeves and out of the sleeves. And who knows, this will probably continue getting filled as my other boxes fill out, and I need to, make more room with cards I know I just really never use, or only in situations that are rare, so I can come in here when I need them. So this probably not going to be touched much, honestly, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to set this back and grab our next box. All right, so here is our next box that I use, and this was my original update that I made. Honestly, the names of these cardboard boxes are not coming to my head right now, but they're very, was it BCS? Is it BCS? It's a very well-known brand that I can link in the comments here, but just the name's not coming to my mind, but I know they're called the monster boxes, so might be BCS. I don't know why that's coming to my mind. So on here, yeah, these stickers that I just got from Amazon, and figured I'd want to update that. And honestly, the white box, it was getting kind of dirty, and I wanted to cover that anyway. So within here, we have a mess going on right now. So this is the hero board from By the Same Token that I just picked up recently, and its token is in these that I'll get to. I'm going to start over here right now. I have these Marvel Champions, just the campaign logs. So here's the campaign logs for all the boxes. What I am going to end up doing with this is probably keeping it in either the OG Marvel Champions box with the core set, which I don't think I have room for, so I'm probably just going to tuck these into the Rise of Red Skull campaign box, just so they exist somewhere that's not going to be in the way and I can go get them when I need them. And so let's see, with that, we're going to continue on to this side, right? This is a mess right now. I'll get to these later, but here I have a video just stand for if I was filming videos and whatnot. This likely is not going to be living in this box anymore. And then within here I have, like I said, more just cards and decks I use. So I have this box out way more than I have the core box, so I like to keep just some extra card sets in here, but for the sake of making room and figuring out what I'm doing with this. These extra card sleeves and all this storage, it's probably going to go back into the Marvel Champions core box. So we'll take those. I'm going to set these aside. And then the other things we have in here, these were some things for a card at the time. I didn't have Serve and Protect, so I just made proxy of these and wrote those down. This I can get rid of. See, I'm just looking for, when I get extra like silica gel packs, I'll typically just toss them into my Marvel Champions boxes. Here we have more Marvel card art things, right? So this is a mess, things I need to figure out and combine. And then these cards, these are all my extra character specific card decks. And these are the ones that I wanted to give away during my, we're only 4 subscribers away, I think, for 100 subscribers. And what I would like to do for you guys is start giving some of these away, because I never use them. I'm never going to really use them. And so they're just kind of wasting away here. So it'd be cool to get you guys some of these in the chance that you might use them, or, hopefully not sell them, but that's, if you have them, that's your will to do with. And then I'm just going to set these aside for now. Here's showing all the different kinds. I kind of went nuts with these when I originally started diving into Marvel Champions. And so here, these are more card sleeves. So probably, we'll see, clear these out. The reason why I'm missing one of these is that temporarily I had been using this box for Marvel United, and I had all the characters sitting in here. And so unfortunately, I got rid of the middle cardboard sleeve, which I might have to go figure out and make a new kind of, because this is going to end up getting filled up with Marvel Champions cards. But in the meantime, what can live in this side, I'm going to set these aside, are the extra things that I do use pretty often. So outside of the card sleeves, I keep my tokens in just used character packs. So these are the plastic packs that the characters come in. So these themselves, I have 4 of them. They're kind of messy, but these, I don't think I'm going to change this that often. And what I have in these is, I'll go through the 4. This pack is my dice, and then I was using these stones to ready and exhaust my characters, but those are in the past now. I might put these into kind of a bag like this and then keep it maybe with my Lord of the Rings, the card game stuff, and use that, where if I'm traveling or something, I don't know, if I play Lord of the Rings with a buddy, maybe I'll use those for that if I'm not using the ready and exhaust tokens. But right, those ready and exhaust tokens can be used for Lord of the Rings as well. So anyway, all to say, this is just a pack. This is what this came with my microphone that I use. But going back through these dice, right now I haven't been using dice either. It's been probably a couple of years now that I use the dice just to like count, green with damage for allies, red damage on minions and things like that. But we're gonna set that aside. We'll see what I end up doing with those. And then these 3, kind of a mess, but in here I have my buy the same tokens stuff, and they're not separated by sections. They're kind of messy, but I don't have that many right now, so I don't need that. Really, all I have is stat modifiers, the ready exhaust, and then some when defeated and retaliates, and the don't forget button here. So that's gonna set that aside in here. And then now, honestly, the past month or so, I've gone back to using these tokens that came with the box, just because I wanted something different. So I've been using these for damage, and I keep those in there along with just a couple acceleration tokens and all-purpose tokens. And then in here, I've always used the original tokens for threat, and I'll probably continue to do so. And then I have our extra things mixed in. The reason I don't have the all-purpose modifiers mixed into their own separate one is that it's just space. It's easy enough for me to have this out, my ready and exhaust tokens, and then now the damage tokens, which if I get annoyed with that taking up space, I'll just simply go back to using dice. But that's why I keep my tokens in. It's really handy. I don't have to purchase anything. I just already have those characters. And then in here, which we'll see. I'll probably, since I'm going to throw all the expansions into probably the Rise of Red Skull box, I'll probably just toss these in, right? These are all these scenario pack pieces. And as we're going through, let's see, what else do I have in here? These will probably stay. These are little card, what are these? I think these are for like displaying cards, but when I'm playing a game with either my wife or with friends, these are really helpful to put on the table and display like the villain and health and the scenario and the schemes and whatnot, because instead of it being flat that everyone has to look over the table, you can set them up and see, right? I mean, By the Same Token has their pretty cool stands for this, but by gosh, are they expensive. I think it's nearly like $300 for a set, so that in US dollars. And so, you know, back in the day when they're selling it probably for like $100, I should have gotten on that, but from here on out, you know, I'm not going to be getting that. It's just the risk, not risk, but the just cost benefit of it isn't going to work out for me. But we'll see. I guess you never say never, but these work for me for now. And so what else do we got? We have, right, this is just kind of my junk drawer of Marvel Champions here. So these are more just ready exhaust tokens. Or those are just, you know, stones that you can use for ready exhaust, more silica packs. And then these are the remaining, what are these? The dividers that I use for cards, these, and then here's like an older sets that I used to use. And what I have these standing up for is over here. Now we'll get to the cards. I use this to hold on to my overflow aspect cards. So the pull aspect is all hanging out back here. And as we're talking about this, hopefully this is in screen. I think it is. And then we go through and I have my leadership, justice, and protection cards here. And then I have the player side schemes. And then back here I have, this is more pool stuff that I can move with it. But this is the Crisis of Infinite Deadpool set. And yeah, I think, and Dreadpool. Or yeah, this is just all the Dreadpool stuff, I believe. Yes. So that's Dreadpool. But now what I'll show you is probably what will make you want to throw up the most here is how I actually organize my cards. And right, there's so many ways you can do this. There's the really beautiful, awesome dividers that you can download from whatever it's called, or you can purchase from a couple different websites. As I'm saying that, if you've seen the stuff, you know what I'm talking about. There's a site that provides dividers that are just really cool. That for me was just never money I wanted to spend when I can just use these. So, and I play this game so often that it's just, I know where everything is, so I don't need it to tell me. So when I'm building decks, honestly, what I like to do is do alphabetical order, because I can just jump in and grab the cards I need. I definitely understand wanting to separate them by maybe allies or the different types, events and whatnot. But for me, I'm like, I'd rather just search through them all. And what it does too is it lets me look at more cards, and it makes me think about cards that I haven't used in a while. So, but here's where it gets crazy. The cards right here are ones that are in alphabetical order. And what this means is that I have not used these cards in forever, because nowadays when I make a card, or when I make a deck, I put it into the character, and when I'm done with that and when I want to clean it up, I'll just throw all my leadership cards into a pile, flip them around, and put them this way. So this right here is a just hodgepodge of leadership cards that, honestly, I like it in a way of that it's like, I mean, this is an extreme example because I guess I've used a lot of these, but look at how many cards this is right now that's just not ordered at all. All I know is that they're leadership cards. So what I'll do is I'll just go, and most of the cards I know how much they cost, so it takes me pretty much no time at all to just fly through and go grab the cards that I need. But there's no rhyme or reason to this, and I know that might make some of you want to pull your hair out, but that's what it is. So what I'm going to be doing And the main thing I wanted to do with the shield aspect coming up is going back to order these alphabetically, because I like doing alphabetical. And so we'll see when I do the alphabetical. We can maybe see if I separate them into allies, events, supports that are different types, which we'll see. I might end up doing, since I'm going to be ordering them anyway, and say why not, and then I'll see how that works for me. I'm just kind of speaking that into existence now. But it depends. I mean, because I say that because I do have a lot of dividers left, so there's no really harm or foul for me doing that. So I may just do that. And then we'll see. But then, yeah, so there's the same thing with the Justice and protection cards. And so that's that. That is this box. I will grab my next box and walk through that with you guys. All right, so here is the main box, the monster box, just this beefy boy right now. This thing is gigantic, and this is the real like stunner when if I'm playing this with friends or have someone over and I'm like, hey, you want to see my hobby collection? Everyone loves that. It's so funny just owning all this stuff. You bring this out and throw it on the table, it slams down, you open this up, and people just kind of, their jaws drop. They're like, who the heck am I friends with, right? Like, this is all of the cards, just all in one place. I know folks like their smaller boxes, but for me, it's just the way my self works. I like having it all in one place. So I'm not even going to turn this around right now. I'll show it this way, I suppose. No, I take that back. I don't want to look at it sideways, so we'll see if it fits this way. Yeah, this is going to be fine. Okay, so here it is. We're looking at it. On the left side here, I have all the heroes in alphabetical order with themselves, their obligation, encounter sets, and their cards. And typically, I'll keep a couple decks ready to go. Right now, my wife is learning how to play, and I'm just having her play Captain Marvel. It's the same aggression deck that I used in my recent playthrough video for the decision-making workshop. And so we're going to look through these. These are all, this is all going to stay the same. Sometimes, depending on how many pre-built decks I have, I'll move some in and out here, but they're all alphabetical. Comes through, and then I think I have Spider-Man with sort of a picked apart deck right now, but this is the deck that I play with my wife when I'm showing her how to play right now. And then, yeah, so we'll look through past here. These are all the heroes down to X23. And then you can tell too, the sleeves are all rippled here because you can tell how much I play like Claw and Rhino, because if I'm teaching the game especially, I just will pull out mostly Claw. It used to be Rhino all the time, but from here we have our core set villains. We have Rhino, Claw, Ultron, and then now like this is where you can start like either pulling your hair out or saying like, hey, maybe that's an okay idea. From here I just kind of have no rhyme or reason to things. I take that back. I do have rhyme and reason to all this. But the next thing here, right behind each sort of box, is all the encounter sets that go with that box. So this is the core set. So I'm going to have Bomb Scare, and then next would be probably Hydra Patrol, which is already probably, or maybe it's Masters of the Universe, or not Master Universe, whatever the villain set is with Claw. Masters of Evil. So those are already in here because I just pretty much keep this armed and ready. So anyway, now I just have these spaces for that. So this is going to be under attack and the Doomsday Chair. And then behind this, like this little section I use so often because behind this is going to be our standard cards, standard 2, expert, expert 2. Oh, I put the expert cards where this is part of the cleanup process. Like this next extra space would be for standard 3, which must be within one of these villains that I played recently. And so there's spaces for that. So I think that's expert 2. And then back here, I always keep these player phase references ready to go. And then in the back of here, with the extra space, I just have extra dividers and a silica pack to pick up moisture. And then so this is just kind of how it works for me. The one thing that I might update is, so as we go through this, what I could do, I typically, because I just, I put all this in here as I acquire it. So the next thing that's in here is the next set that came out. And so that's going to be the encounter set for Green Goblin, and then Green Goblin, the 2 villains in there, and then the encounter sets that go with the Green Goblin, yada yada. Now I have Hood, which I guess I already started doing this. I would want to put all of the encounter sets together and all of their stuff, and so I do have that outside of the Mojo. But anyway, so I'll probably update that, and it all depends what kind of just like fits together. I try to keep things rather than right, if the standard sets were to spill over to here, I try to avoid that. Or like if one box, I'd like to keep boxes in one row together. So anyway, with that, I've those, and then now I have the Red Skull box here, yada yada. You get the point. There's the box villains, and then their encounter sets. I think one of these are going to be, unless I might have passed up Kang already, but yeah, then we have the next box, the Guardians, and so that's how I organize these. And like I said, it is really nice to have like the actual identifiers, but I don't need those. Would I like to have them? Yes, absolutely. Does it fall into what I want to be spending my kind of gaming budget on? No, not not at all. My big, probably separate, besides the game itself, purchase was this year is probably going to be the buy the same tokens that I got. So I have all that. The one thing that I would like to do is that I would like to take these, put all the scenario packs in a line, and then start doing the campaign packs. But the main thing is that with the encounter sets, they are spread out so much. It would be cool to have all of the extra encounter sets, like the ones that come with the hero packs that come out. Those are kind of a random hodgepodge of places, and that's where I get confused a bit. Because if something's in its campaign box, I'm going to know where the encounter sets are that I can plug and play with. But when it comes to things like like Zax or the Reavers, I just put it where it comes out. What is this? Iron Spider, Sinister Six. These things don't belong to campaign boxes, but are just kind of random extra stuff. And so those things I kind of need to figure out where they are. Lady Deathstrike. And I think with the X-Men might be when they started to do that, around that time, putting out these extra, not encounter sets, but what in the world? What are they called? Modular encounter sets. So anyway, that's what this looks like. All of those. And then with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. coming out, we'll see. I will probably make some extra room here. These are all my basic cards, as we saw before too. A lot of these ones aren't sleeved yet, so I might go ahead and just get those sleeved. But we'll see if I do that. That could be part of the cleanup, is just like sleeving, because I have a lot of extra sleeves right now. And so with that, all to say, the basic and aggression cards here might move over to their own box with the other aspect cards while I make room for bringing in that shield expansion. And so there'll be extra room in here, but I might just leave that space open now before it gets too late, and then I'll keep probably extra card sleeves and whatnot to keep the spacing there. But yeah, the other stuff, the main thing that I keep in this box that's not just cards is I always keep the villain token counter right here, because that's easy for me to grab and go. And then I always keep the health counters and the like the status cards in here. You know, eventually, probably if I make another purchase from Buy the Same Token, I'll almost definitely get the Confused Tough tokens, so these would kind of be extinct. But these counters, the health dials and whatnot, those are probably always going to be ready and active for me. And I used to have that little black bag that I had earlier. I would keep all my threat tokens, dice, and then those little ready beads just all in there. And so I would have all those in one place, but things grow and expand. So this is how I do it. Kind of a long rant there of explaining it, but what I'm going to do now is go in and organize this. I think, my heroes for the most part, let's see, I think are all ready to go. I'll have to check to make certain that, oof, I don't want to bend Iceman's cards there, but I'll have to check and make certain that if I'd have any cards mixed in with the heroes. I sure hope I don't, but I don't think. We'll see. Hopefully, I have no like extra random aspect cards within any of the heroes. I think the only two ones that I've built are Captain America and Spider-Man, and then I'll go through and just start. Anything that's not sleeved, I might sleeve those. A lot of campaign stuff I don't sleeve, like the Public Outcry, that's sleeved, but all the other campaign stuff not sleeved. I'll have to decide. I bought so many of these white sleeves that I definitely have enough. So anyway, so that's going to be the next couple hours for me is sleeving, organizing, doing the alphabetical, and I'll probably separate it into the different types of cards, and I'll come back to y'all and we'll take a look, and hopefully it looks a little better than it started. So thank you very much. I'll be right back. All right, so we are back, and I am testing out a new microphone here. While we're at it, I figured I'd mention to go down and hit the subscribe button or comment below. It really helps the channel here, and we're reaching that 100 followers, so we can do a giveaway. Speaking of, let's take a look into what we have done now. This was the rules references we looked at and whatnot. So here, nothing much is going to change in here. This is card storage. In the I moved things a little over to here because I had much more cards that I transferred into here, just kind of duplicates or cards that I just don't really use. But I do have these separated into aggression, the different aspects. I think probably leadership, justice, protection, and then the basic cards over here. And then these over here are all the team up cards, which I pretty much never use. But in the case that I do, I figured I'd keep those separate so I can keep those there. And then, yeah, we still have our dice in our bag that we're not using here. But yeah, so that's a wrap on this box. And we can get to the good stuff now. So I'm going to close this. And I feel good about this. Just more organized. So let's take a look at what else we got. All right, so we will look at the next largest box here. And I have now moved all of the player cards into this box here. So starting at the beginning, we have basic, and so I sort of had two sizes of these not protectors, the dividers, and so I figured I'd use the smaller ones to mix things into the different types. So this first one here, we did allies. So here's all the basic allies. We're going to slide that in there, and then from there we have events and upgrades and supports, and then the resource cards, and then a larger divider to say, hey, now we are going to go to aggression. So all the aggression allies here going through with the cards. Like I said, if you're looking at this and thinking that doesn't look like all the cards, that's because the ones that I don't use that often or the duplicates and whatnot are going to be in the box we had just looked at. So then we got the leadership cards here, which at first I didn't think that all three of these were going to fit, but I'm very glad they did, because then we have our justice cards, Agent Coulson there. And along with that, I alphabetized everything. So the reason you're seeing Agent 13, Agent Coulson, right, is they're alphabetically fall in order. So all of these are now separated into their types, separated by aspect, and then alphabetized as well, so I can find them a little easier. And then we have our protection cards, our pool cards, and let's see, the one thing in here that is in player cards is the Dreadpool encounter set, and I figured I would keep that close with the pool set. And then the last thing is all the player side schemes, and those honestly I don't think I even went through doing alphabetical order. I just kind of threw them all in one, but the different aspects are together. And then right, so now we have all of this is just extra space, so we have a lot of room to grow with the player card, so I'm excited about that. And then yeah, here we have, I cleaned up, got rid of the extra things in the box that I don't use here. So we just have our tokens and our player board and all the stuff that I need to play a game of Marvel Champions right in here. So we can put a wrap on this box, and I am very excited to do that. We'll see. Hopefully, I can keep it this way, like nice and organized. Rather, I think it'll help having everything separated into the different types, because previously I would just take everything, flip it around, and put it in the back of the aspect. But now I have a little better reason to go and organize things. So that's a wrap on here. Let's take a look at our largest box. And here we go. Last but not least, but certainly not least, right? We have the big boy box, the monster box. I'll be excited, I suppose, for the day when I purchase another one of these and see what we end up doing with that. But anyway, here we have all our heroes. I've gone through and I guess didn't do too much for this. I just got rid of the, again, extra fluff that was in here, and like combine all the aspect cards into one box that we had just taken a look at. But I have the original stuff here. I did, trying to think, did like some small things, like some like the player reference cards. I use these quite often anytime I'm playing with friends, so I put those in like some penny sleeves here. Um, and those come here. So this is right all the beginning cards. So I have this amount of room to grow for heroes, which we'll see how that goes. I think it'll make me end up having to not have as many decks already ready to go. I typically like at least keeping two, but sometimes I just get lazy and I won't put a hero's cards away and whatnot. So I'll be, if I make a deck. So there's a little bit of room to grow here, but we will right quickly end up outgrowing this space. So we'll see after that, right? It's so far going to be an easy fix because I have this space back here that can push back. But it goes from the core set stuff to then the next thing I did was combine all of the scenario packs. So we have the Green Goblin scenario pack to start with, and I just kind of went chronologically with those, except for once I get to the end here. So I'm just passing Kang. Here's the Mojo set, which would have been the last set. But in the last set, I did the Hood, and that is because with the Hood, because he had so many encounter sets, this is where I've now put all of my extra encounter sets as well. And I see, oh, I have an open space here, so I have to see why I have that. Let me check the, I think that just was, yeah, that was just a mistake, but I'll take this out. So we have our extra stuff here. So right here is, where are we looking at? Here's the Hood, and it's going to go after him all of those extra encounter sets that come with the Hood. Here's Crossfire's crew, but then as you go back, we have Exodus here, and we have the Reavers, right? So here's all these extra, I've been saying encounter sets, modular sets. So the Zax, all this stuff. So anyway, I was glad to have these all just sort of in one place, finishing with the latest one, which was the Crazy Gang. So now at least here, I know, like, because I'm very familiar with the modular sets that are connected to different scenarios, but all of the extra ones that exist on their own, I'm not as familiar with. So I'm glad I have that. And then here we have everything that comes with the first campaign box, right? And then we have some more room to grow back here. Since we had space, I just put in my extra card sleeves. And so we'll have room to grow with that. Don't know if we'll necessarily need to yet, but as we continue on, we have the rest of the boxes. Like I said, each of them is, each set, it has the 5 scenarios. So if we're looking at the Guardians of the Galaxy, we have Drang all the way through Ronan right here. And then from kind of in that order comes the encounter sets that you would need for that campaign, or to grab and go and play. So I kind of went through that debate of like, hey, do I do Drang and then his encounter, his modular sets, and then the collector and the modular sets to go with that? But I found it easier with my own brain to just put all the campaign villains together and then behind them group their modular sets. And then here's something like back here that all these market things that I never or that I don't really use that often. I just don't have sleeved yet, and I don't know if I'll go through and sleeving those. Like that was one bigger thing where I was like, I think that's some extra work that I don't actually have to do. Um, so anyway, then we continue going through the boxes until we go through the X-Men stuff. Right, it's just going to keep going. I think there's no spillovers. Fortunately, I was glad that I didn't have to do that. So there's still right all of this space up to here is essentially just going to be pushing back for new heroes. Things are just going to continue moving back until we fill this space, and this space with the heroes that are just going to keep coming because I don't expect, I guess, as well as the extra encounter sets. But from there, the next space that would really be filled is this back here because this is the final. So we had the final two campaign boxes, I believe, are back here. Yeah, starting with Unis and then Apocalypse back here. And so, right, there's room to grow. And so after this will be the Shield expansion, right? Probably in here. Maybe another expansion. So maybe like 3 more expansion spaces we could do. And so at least gives me some time to not have to overflow into things. So we'll see what we end up doing with that. But for now, this is working for me. Those, essentially 2 boxes that I need day to day if I'm going to play this game. The third box just has those extra cards. But so I'm happy with what we got here. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know how you store everything, especially if you have the whole game here. I'm looking forward to diving into the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That should be coming in probably 2 weeks or so for me. But yeah, we're going to close out our box here, and maybe eventually I'll do the extra like stickers and whatnot on here. But for now, I'm happy with where things are at, and let me know what y'all think. Thank you.